Hey guys, welcome to your next Commander video. This time we'll be looking at the British Forces Commander Royal Artillery Regiment. And we'll be talking about specific units like the Valentine and the Sexton, as well as the other abilities the Commander has. So, for the first ability you get in Royal Artillery Regiment is Early Warning at 3 CPs for 60 munitions. At 4 CPs you unlock the Concentration Barrage, which costs 100 munitions. Next, you get the Valentine at 5 CPs. This is a light tank. At 9 CPs, you unlock the Artillery Support Group, the Sexton. And at 10 CPs, you get access to the Perimeter Overwatch ability, costing 225 munitions. So the Early Warning ability does this. Nearby artillery batteries fire flares periodically over the front line territories, revealing the area. Now, this ability is fine. Even if you don't have your howitzers built in your base, this ability will still work. So, you know, even if it says nearby artillery batteries, it just means off-map artillery batteries. So what happens here is that only enemy frontline territories will light up with flares, giving you vision. So we're going to activate the ability for 60 munitions right now.
Frontline should be illuminated in a minute.
And then for 30 seconds, and even a little bit more than that, you'll have these flares drop over these frontline territories any second now. As you can see, they're dropping over here. So it's dropping in this area here because this is an enemy frontline. It's not going to drop here because the enemy don't own that point. And it's not specifically the front line. And also look on the map as well. It's not dropping on these territories behind our front line because it's not really the enemy's front line. The front line is dictated by the territory which is on the front, and it's also connected back to the base. So this territory and all the way along, all the way down here is where we're going to get a sea vision. This is super handy because the enemy can't counter this. So as soon as this flare goes up, they're going to be completely exposed and vulnerable here, and the units will be spotted. So this gives you time then to combine that flare ability, that recon ability that you've just gained, with artillery. So you pop the flare, you get to see the enemy position, and then you drop artillery. So you could do that, and then you could do it in conjunction with the second ability, which we're going on to a second, which is Concentration Barrage. Okay, so I've also got put a sniper, an enemy sniper here, cloaked, but it doesn't appear that the flares in the sky are spotting cloaked units, okay? So they just literally reveal normal units in the area, but nothing cloaked, nothing camouflaged, okay? So you won't be able to see like cloaked Rakettenwerfers or cloaked snipers or cloaked I don't know, stormtroopers, those kinds of things with this flare. But you do get a great amount of vision all along the enemy front line. Okay, so the second ability is the Concentration Barrage for 100 munitions. So this requires you to build your platoon command post. So what you have to do is go back to your base, upgrade your platoon command post for 180 manpower and 30 fuel.
Your forces have constructed a platoon command post.
And then you'll have access to the Concentration Barrage ability. Now this, basically, you spend 100 munitions and then this howitzer here will fire on the map as shown. Again, you need vision to drop it, so I could drop it on this point because we've got vision around here, but we can't drop it anywhere else. We're just going to drop the artillery ability here just to show you what happens. So one red flare goes down, so the enemy will, if the enemy would be able to see this happening, so they could dodge this if they're watching, and then your base howitzer will start firing on there. But it also, because you've chosen Royal Artillery Regiment, you'll get an airburst shell as well, which is this thing that you just saw there, which is very effective against killing, damaging infantry in the area. And if you were to upgrade your second base structure, so your company command post for 280 manpower and 115 fuel, like so,
post is finished and ready for use.
you would be able to have 2 howitzers firing from the base. Okay, so you see these 2 howitzers here? So if I was to activate the ability once more on the same spot,
A sustained barrage is being fired.
this other howitzer will turn around and also get involved. So I'd always recommend probably waiting until you've built your company command post as well to get the maximum amount of usage out of this ability, because then you have double the firepower basically once you've done that. Because 100 munitions just for one howitzer isn't that effective. But if you have 2 firing, you could do a lot more damage. Okay. It's also worth noting that the howitzer from the company command post starts like rotated towards the off-map, the wrong side of the map. So his first barrage will be delayed as he had to rotate around. But now, if I was to drop the ability again on the same spot,
A sustained barrage is being
both
fired
howitzers should fire at the exactly same time, pretty much,
Fire orders
like so. And then that allows you to get a better chance at a good first shot than the first barrage before the howitzer turn around. Let's go on to the next ability, which is the Valentine. So the Valentine doesn't require any tech, but you probably will have your platoon command post anyway by the time you call on the Valentine. So the Valentine, you don't have to have your tier 3 tech, which is nice. It allows you to be able to call this unit in like so from off map. You can only make 1 Valentine, and now this unit is fairly decent against medium armor targets. It can even penetrate things like Panthers if it shoots them in the rear, that kind of thing. But it's not very good against fighting enemy tanks per se. It could definitely beat something like an Ostwind in a 1-on-1 fight. Something like a Panzer IV, it won't win on a 1-on-1 fight, but if you had an anti-tank gun to support it, or maybe an AEC as well, you'd probably be able to beat a Panzer IV. Now, what does the Valentine do? The Valentine has a couple of nice abilities. So first of all, you have to stand hold fire, prioritize vehicles. We've also got observation mode. So let's move you forward with the Valentine. So you can see its standard vision is about up to here. We have observation mode on, and you can see a lot further. So this is a good thing to put on your Valentine in conjunction with maybe you want to give vision for your sniper to fire or your anti-tank guns to see further. You can see that their actual fire range is loads further than they can actually see. If I was to turn the Valentine vision off, you can see that the British anti-tank gun crew, that's its range there, vision there, but it can shoot way further than it can actually see. But so in conjunction with the Valentine ability, you can give that range to that the anti-tank gun or the Firefly, for instance, which would be nice, or even a 17-pounder that you might decide to build on the map. Valentine also has the ability to drop smoke screen down, very similar to what the Sherman can do for the Americans. So drops a smoke screen up and does a nice barrage of smokes. This is good to to stop an MG shooting at your infantry, for instance, or being able to cover a retreat of something kind of thing. If I was to move and try and drop the smoke, it can work as well. So you can be on the move and also use the smoke barrage, which is quite nice. So we'll do it again. We'll keep moving and dropping the smoke barrage again. So that's the bonus over the Valentine, so you can actually drop its smoke barrage on the move. It doesn't have to be stationary to be able to drop the smoke barrage, unlike a Sherman. And it also, once it gets veterancy, once there's some Sextons on the field, it can then order the Sextons to fire long-range supercharged charge rounds at a target area. So let's see what that does. So let's go and get ourselves a couple of Sextons out, this next unit. So the Sextons are your British mobile artillery piece. It's their only vehicle mobile artillery piece, apart from maybe the land mattress, but the land mattress is kind of a support weapon. This is an actual vehicle. So let's see what happens here. So you could do this ability, concentration section barrage. We could drop this, for instance, here. So this is the range you could drop it. So you can't drop it further than that, otherwise the actual Valentine has to move until it gets in range. But we'll do that there. He's activate the ability, and both these Sextons should start firing on that area. And you can see that the Sextons are quite accurate. All their shells kind of landing in a very tight area in where you wanted the artillery to fire. Okay. Just also want to show you guys that the fact that if I activate this concentration Sexton barrage ability over here, like so, it will mean that their normal ability of the Sextons, their normal barrage ability, will also immediately become on cooldown. The only reason why you'd probably want to spend 35 munitions to get these two Sextons to both barrage like that is I believe they will fire from a lot greater range than they normally can. So you click on both Sextons and you can see their range is about up to here. So if I was to activate this, since this Valentine came a lot further forward, let's pop it here. And hopefully, yeah, so you see these Sextons, their normal range is about up to here. And with this ability, I can actually make them shoot a lot further than you normally can. So that's the benefit from using that concentrated Sexton barrage. It's quite cheap. So if I was to get these Sextons to fire from max range, just sort of, for instance, one. Let's fire on this sniper, for instance. And one over here. You'll see that these Sexton rounds should be very scattered. Yeah, okay. A couple of the shells quite accurate, but you got a lot of the shells can be quite, spread out. See that shell, we fired here with the artillery and one shell fired there, but we did that concentration barrage here, and the shells were a lot tighter, as you can see with the craters, okay? So you can see more spread out here, more tighter here. So Sextons, when they get efficiency 1, they do a creeping barrage ability. Okay, so the creeping barrage is 50 munitions. And it does basically it'll fire slowly forward, like so.
Creeping barrage begun. Don't fall behind, lads.
Obviously, if there's buildings in the way, the Sexton will probably hit the buildings. So you always want to be, so that's another good thing, chat. Always try and make sure that your vehicles aren't positioned too close to these like houses or hedgerows, otherwise the shells will actually hit those houses and not actually hit the target, so it'll be a wasted barrage. But you can see here that the shells are slowly going to be pushing forward here. So you've also got the artillery flares from your infantry section, or for instance, you can make a sniper, and your sniper can lob the coordinated fire artillery ability. Both of them cost 45 munitions. And again, so what you do is you get your infantry squad up there, and then you lob down the flare like so. And then you can retreat the squad, and the flare, the artillery will still keep firing. You don't even need vision of it, and both your base howitzers will start firing on that location. Okay. However, there won't be any airburst shells. The airburst shells only come with the concentrated barrage ability. Okay. So guys, if I was to activate the coordinated fire ability like so, I think it would also put the concentration barrage on cooldown as well. So basically, it's a lot cheaper to do this the coordinated fire ability. A lot, it's 55 manpower cheaper, but you don't get the airburst shell there to come help you out. The airburst shells are nice, but I still probably, if you can't afford it, I'd rather prioritize using coordinated fire over using the concentration barrage. The good thing about the concentration barrage ability, guys, is that you don't need a squad nearby to activate it. You just need vision. And then, so let's say there's an enemy position here. I could then just drop the concentration barrage on there. The base howitzers would fire. You could, even if I was to plant this artillery ability over here, the base house would still fire from that range. And then you also get the fires coming in, and then you have the airburst shells as well on top. Okay, so that's the bonus you get there with this ability, is that you don't need a unit there to be able to lob the flare down. You can just drop it wherever you've got vision, which is quite nice. However, it's quite expensive though. So 60 munitions, then 100 missions, 160 missions in total. Be able to drop artillery like this. So if your teammate had like a major recon, for instance. His major recon is what, like something like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's like maybe 50, 60 munitions or something like that. Which is, he can spend it, and then you can save your munitions up to do the artillery rather than you having to waste your munitions on getting vision, for instance. And again, you might be able to use your Valentine's ability with an observation mode to gain that vision, so you won't even need to waste munitions on early warning potentially. So one more thing about the Sextons, guys. Normally, if they were to fire, they would have 90-second cooldown. Once they get veterancy 2, we would have fired this one and cancel. The recharge time is only 54 seconds, so they have a really reduced cooldown on their firing once they get veterancy 2, which is awesome. As with nearly every type of artillery piece in the game, once they get to that veterancy 2, they then be able to fire a lot faster. Veterancy 3, let's say here, improves training barrage and increases the barrage range. So this is the veterancy 3 one. Look at that barrage range. And veterancy 2 one is a lot smaller, so we put them both overlapping. You can clearly see there on the mini-map, guys, the veterancy 3 range is a lot greater than the veterancy 2 one. So that's veterancy 2. Veterancy 3 can fire this far, okay? And also bear in mind again, guys, that you can see the spread. As I go further out, the spread of the concentration of the barrage is going to be greater with distance. So the spread's going to be a lot, it's going to be massive spread there, but the closer you are, the more tighter the spread's going to be, and the more accurate your shots are going to be. So in general, if you can, like on this map, putting your Sexton behind a nice house like this where it should be safe would be a good idea, because then it would be kind of close to the front line. It can also bombard and get more accurate shots. But Sexton's very vulnerable. He can easily get killed by like 2 shots to a pack gun or something like that. So you want to make sure you've got it backed up with some kind, you've got it protected if you're going to try and use it kind of close in the front line. One more thing, guys, you can't drop this artillery ability inside the base sector. You can drop it, if I was to, put a squad, let's just quickly put down a Churchill here for a second. You can see that this ability here, I can't place in the base. Even though I have vision of it, I can plant just outside the angle. So I could pop it here, for instance. And actually, the artillery would actually land inside the base sector a little bit, but it won't. You couldn't drop it like here and do the damage right next to their base, unfortunately. So, and there you have it. Okay, so on to the last ability now. The perimeter overwatch orders all 25-pounder howitzers in the British Army HQ to overwatch friendly territory for a set duration. So what happens here is that you will pop on this ability. Well, first of all, let's just put some enemy units dotted around the map. So if I was to activate this ability, Perimeter Overwatch,
enemy units spotted in our territory will be bombarded.
This ability gives you immediate vision around the strategic sector, and then you'll have friendly artillery bombarding the area for 2 minutes directly. However, if the enemy was to capture the point like so, and you were to lose vision, the artillery would stop bombarding that location. Okay, that last shell came in just now because, you know, it saw the enemy there, but it's going to stop now. Even though we own this territory over here, we can't see any of the enemies. The artillery has stopped firing. If I was to then gain vision, let's say if I was to get a squad, an infantry section here, rush them in this house real quick. Because this squad is inside my territory point, it's going to get fired upon, right? So you need vision to be able to bombard and fire artillery here. Okay, this squad over here, however, is not inside the territory point, so it shouldn't be fired upon. So the artillery is firing on where that other vault was spotted, but not where this vault is. So it's only in your own territory point. So again, you look on the minimap, you can see this is where the artillery is going to be effective, right? So even if this territory point over here has been cut off, it will still be active in this entire territory zone, okay? Primarily a defensive ability. So if your opponent is rushing in against you, you activate this ability, they will get absolutely destroyed. And then it has a cooldown of 2 minutes before using again. So we'll activate the ability. Can't see this thing over here. Let's just put a unit here real quick. We're going to cap it. Selection. Oh no, we're just going to speed the capping up of this real quick. It's worth noting though that since we just captured this point, this ability will not actually be active in this sector. So if I was to put a I don't know, let's put some enemy infantry, put the enemy Volksgrenadier squad here. The artillery ability won't be active in this region because it wasn't the region that you activated at the start. So no artillery will drop in this area onto this guy because it was a territory you recently captured. It's only your own territory that you captured at the start of the ability. Put a load of Volks here. Artillery will bombard on these guys any second now because they are in the zone. And you can see how active that is, how accurate that is. That literally drops within maybe 3 or 4 seconds of them being in that territory, right? And it's very accurate. So anything, and that's like vehicles and tanks as well. If I was to put a tank there, for instance. Let's put a King Tiger here. Let's see how quickly he gets wrecked. So the ability is generally more effective against infantry than obviously tanks. But you know, the artillery rounds that do land on it do quite a bit of damage, and they're pretty accurate as well, as you can see. So some mortar rounds coming in. So you have mortar rounds and also direct artillery rounds landing on top of the unit as well. And then the ability stops. You don't get as much vision as you normally would normally. However, the artillery is still continuing from beforehand for a short while afterwards because it just does, you know. So always, just even though the ability ends, guys, you always need to be thinking as an Axis player, just to wait maybe a couple more seconds and then push in and then you know the artillery is finished completely. But again, once you activate the ability, you see that the whole territory point becomes visible. But in general, you want to be able to see the entirety, you know, want as much vision along the whole territory front line as possible. So actually activating this ability along with perimeter overwatch would be handy because the vision that you get from the front line will also go over your front line over here as well. So if I was to activate again this early warning and then in conjunction with perimeter overwatch, you gain vision of your front line slightly as well. So it's not just the enemy front line you gain vision of. You gain slight vision of your own front line, okay, as you can see here. So activating that along with this ability, it's really expensive to do so though, so that's like what, 285 munitions to do both of them at the same time. But it wouldn't be a bad idea because you'd gain vision along the front line as well of your enemies, so you can see the enemy coming in, and then, you know, you'd be able to drop artillery on the front line thanks to the overwatch, the perimeter support, if the enemy were to push into your territory, for instance. So guys, there you have it. That is this commander. Let's just double check the Valentine as one last thing. So let's see the veterancy. So let's just see what happens when the Valentine gains veterancy. So combat, selection, combat, veterancy 1.
So on that extra stripe.
So it gains even more vision than beforehand. So it gains increased vision. Better optics and training improves vehicle cruise vision and radius. So it's a super vision there. So without vision, and with vision goes up to there. Veterancy 2. Advanced training improves the mobility of the vehicle and turret rotation, so it makes it faster. So let's just drive it along a bit at the moment. So this is how fast it is at the moment. Veterancy 2 makes it even faster. And its turret can rotate more smoothly, so it's better at flanking and that kind of thing. And then finally, Veterancy 3 improves the survivability of the crew. So, you know, just makes them better just in general again. But there again, big amount of vision. which is going to be super handy in conjunction with things like fireflies and your anti-tank guns. So let's just start with some build orders then to finish off with. So with this commander, you probably want to go with like double infantry sections, MG, Bren gun carrier, like so. So you want your Bren gun carrier, maybe upgrade it with, you know, on close range maps, you probably, you know, with lots of cover, probably Wasp, but an open map like this, you probably want to go for the Vickers K mount, and then you want to be suppressing units on the move with that. Double infantry sections, one be upgraded probably with the medical supplies, the other with the artillery flares. Or if you don't go for artillery flares, go for double healing and then get yourself a sniper out. The sniper there could then be the one that drops the coordinated fire instead then. However, obviously you have to get your sniper close to be able to do that, which makes it vulnerable. Whereas the infantry section, you know, has got more chance to be able to pull something off compared to the sniper, as it is a bit more tankier than the sniper. So once you've got this, then you probably either go for you get yourself an anti-tank gun out as well to be able to support your army against light vehicles. You'd also want to probably go double sappers, and at some point before you probably go double sappers, guys, I'd probably recommend getting bolstered infantry squads first. Why? Because if you were to go bolster infantry squads first and then make the sapper squads, they come out as 5 men. And if you were to do it beforehand, you'd have to reinforce that 5th man, and that would be you have to spend some extra manpower there, which you wouldn't have to do otherwise, basically, right? And the same thing, you know, if you were to make a new infantry section, they would come out as a 5-man squad, not a 4-man squad, once you upgrade the bolstered infantry sections, okay? So that, hopefully you learned something there if you didn't know that already. And you want the sapper squads there, obviously, to repair the Bren gun carrier. You want them to repair the Valentine once you get 5 CP, so then you'd get the Valentine out after kind of this thing. You might want to go, because the Valentine's 5 CPs, right? You probably want to get yourself maybe the AC out first, because it takes a while to get 5 CP, so then you have the AC in conjunction with the Valentine, which could be nice. So this could be a good like double team against a Puma, for instance. Especially with the AEC's ability to tread lock, so the Puma couldn't run away, for instance. So this would be a nice little combination here. And then once you've done this, you probably then want to tech up to see if you know your company command post. And then maybe, you know, depending on how well you're doing, as I say with every type of build order, you know, if you want to shoot, you need to shoot down planes, get the centaur out. Or if you feel like your opponent hasn't got any armor out, then you probably can get away with getting a centaur out. Cromwell, if your opponent's got Panzer IVs out, that kind of thing, but you also want to kill infantry. If your opponent's going for like big tank destroyers or big heavy tanks like King Tigers or Tigers, get the Sherman Firefly out. And then you want, for instance, again, like I was saying earlier, using the Firefly's, Valentine's vision with the observation mode in conjunction with the anti-tank gun and the Firefly would be great. The Firefly can shoot as far as the Valentine Efficiency 3 can see. If I was to turn it off, this would be the vision you'd get otherwise. Let's just push the Valentine back actually slightly as well, so you get an idea of, I think it's the Valentine that's providing the extra vision there, which it is. You can see the Firefly's vision is terrible, right? It can fire a lot further than it can actually see itself, so that's why, you know, you bring up the Valentine like so, you pop on the observation mode, and then perfect. Your Firefly can shoot at max range, and that's how you should be using the Firefly. Always be using the Firefly shooting at max range. It's not a close range tank. It can outrange nearly every Axis vehicle apart from things like the Elephant, the Jagdpanzer, and the Jagdtiger. But yeah, it's such a great unit to be able to pick away, you know, perfect. This would be the perfect thing to do against Panthers or Tigers or King Tigers, to do this. You know, and then if the enemy were to push you, you just slowly reverse back. You know, keep them like neck and neck with each other, so they both can keep supporting each other. And then, you know, we would also have maybe anti-tank guns in support. And then if the enemy tried to push you, could rush in with your sapper squad and lob a snare, so they couldn't even chase you, and you could just easily kill them at range. So that's basically the build order there. You know, you could also always maybe put down a mortar bit at some point. On this map, you know, you want to probably pop it behind this hedgerow here, for instance, you know, where the enemies can't easily see it. Anything else? Probably go, for me personally, my build, I always like to pick Anvil, because if you go Anvil, you can then once you've got your double sappers out, you can upgrade them with their packages here, which increases their repair speed, which is amazing, especially when you've got, you know, lots of light vehicles like this. You want to increase repair speed. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time. Hey, guys, if you liked that video and you want to see more content like that, please do try and, if you can afford it, support me on Patreon. Here's my Patreon online right now. I've got membership tiers, as you can see. So you get with the basic pledge, you get a say in what I make. $10 or more, you can join me on TeamSpeak or Skype or Discord for a friendly chat or advice and get your replay analysed. For $15 with a pledge, you can play with me with Sub Saturday, but you could do that anyway if you subscribe with me on Twitch for much less, for $4.99. With pledging $20, you get a HelpingHans Company Heroes community mug. $30, you receive a 2-hour coaching session. And 40 or more, you'll get Company Heroes 2 t-shirt delivered to your address as the community t-shirt. Still got a few of them made, and I can always order in more if I need to. So I hope you guys will show your support. Even if you can't afford to, even just liking and subscribing and just spreading the word of mouth about my content is support enough. So thank you very much, guys.